Thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. Move right into what the key points are behind Talisker Resources. The first one is we're very well supported by our shareholder base. We've got a large percentage of institutional shareholders and also a very strong strategic shareholder base. New Gold is our largest shareholder, and we'll talk about why they're our largest shareholder. They've got a lot of regional synergies with all of our projects, which are truckable to their toll mill at New Afton. We've got two fully permitted resource stage assets. We're just coming up to our maiden resource on one of those assets, and the other one's got about 700,000 ounces, which we want to convert into about 1 million ounces indicated in 2023. We've got excellent access and infrastructure for all of our projects. We're located in south central British Columbia. We've got highway access. In one case, a 4-lane highway that goes right through the project, so excellent access to transfer our material around. Good access to power lines, local infrastructure and employment source. We've got a fairly strong leadership and board team. Our history is in greenfields and brownfields exploration, and we're nearly hitting the 60 million ounce mark of discoveries since we came together as a team around about 20 years ago. All of our projects are 100% owned, no joint ventures, no option deals, and we've got district scale land packages with all of those, so no postage stamp projects. Everything's above 10,000 hectares, so we like to control the entire district that's around our flagship assets. We've also got a very big greenfields pipeline. What we founded the company on was a large greenfields package in the Spencer's Bridge gold belt, where we control about 75% of that gold belt. We won't be able to talk much about that today because of time constraints, but we've been exploring for the last 3 years since we founded the company with a large number of geologists in the field, and we've developed that greenfields project into a lot of drill-ready targets that are going through the drill permitting stage now. So we'll focus on our flagship today, the Bralorne Gold Project. I just want to be clear that there's a great pipeline, and we've been exploring that pipeline like a major company for the last few years. Finally, jurisdiction, really, which is the key to good exploration projects, and exploration projects being able to transition into mining projects. And all of ours are located in Canada, in British Columbia, so really in one of the top mining jurisdictions in the world. So just to focus now on our flagship project, the Bralorne Gold Project. Very fortuitous time. We're finalising our maiden resource statement to come out. It's been a bit delayed with some assay failure at the laboratory, but we're about a couple of weeks out from announcing our maiden resource. The market guidance we've put out for that first resource is between 1.5 to 2 million ounces, and we're expecting that to be a high-grade resource, so somewhere in the range of 7 to 9 grams per tonne. So when we deliver that, we expect that to be one of the best high-grade resources to come out in Western Canada for quite some time. We put about 140,000 metres worth of drilling since we acquired the project 2 years ago. So we've been very aggressive in that approach. We've defined 85 veins. A number of those will make it into the resource. 75 of those veins are still open along strike and at depth. So there's an incredible amount of upside there. We've drilled around a historic project, but we've drilled in the ownership gaps between the 3 historic mines, and there's up to 1 kilometre of available space in between those mines. So all of our drilling's been from surface to 700 metres. So development access is very easy, and there's a lot of upside potential in this mesothermal or orogenic system to continue at depth. The metallurgy of the project is excellent, world-class. The historic recovery was 90%. Our new work in new metallurgical, using new metallurgical techniques has been up to 96% average recovery. And a vast majority of that is free gold in the rocks. The historic production was almost down to 2 kilometres. So there's a lot of confirmation in the mineralisation, and we've got a lot of historic data that we've been able to model, about 45,000 drift assay samples. So our exploration is very low risk, and our targeting is of a very high quality. So that's a real anomaly with projects of this type. We've got a very high hit rate in our drilling. It's very close to 100% to our targeting. We've got a large consolidated land package around that we own 100%, nearly 14,000 hectares in that brownfields camp. It covers a 33-kilometre mineralised trend. There's around about 47 vein occurrences and small historic mines along that trend. So a real lot of brownfields upside. And around the core project, we see very clear pathway to 5 million ounces or beyond 5 million ounces, really using that historic drift assays and using the world-class continuity of both structure and grade that these projects had. And just to remind everyone again, this is a fully permitted Canadian asset, major mines permit, one of the key things about it. So that really helps to define the value proposition that we have with Talisker Resources. Obviously, we're a prime target for a future acquisition. That's most likely the reason that New Gold has come in for a cornerstone investment in our company. We're in a Tier 1 jurisdiction, and we look like we're on pathway to define a Tier 1 resource over the next couple of years. Really, in the market, we're seeing limited alternatives. I suspect here we've got a large number of fairly astute investors, and you'd be looking at a lot of projects that are permitted, that have resource stage, and that are located close to infrastructure. They're very rare. So we understand the position that we actually sit within the marketplace, and the ability to be transacted over the next couple of years. We've also got very undervalued secondary assets. The Ladner Gold project, we won't get time to touch on it, but we've already got 700,000 ounces on the books there. We've got a very clear pathway to take that to 1 million ounces indicated. It's also located close to infrastructure, fully permitted as well. So that's either something that could form the heart of a spinco if we were taken out, or a primary build up into a secondary development asset. We see pretty large scale upside potential. I think when you are able to look at the data behind Bralorne, you can see that it's very straightforward how we can project our veins down at depth to previously mined depths and beyond those depths. It could clearly be mined to beyond 2 kilometres, 2.5 to 3 kilometres, and there's a lot of open space between where we've drilled our resource and where the veins are known to continue down there at depth. So hopefully the gold price will recover and the markets will recover, and we'll be able to see a great re-rate for this project and for the company. The coverage that we've got at the moment values us in the 40 to 55 cent range. So at least a double or a triple from where we sit at the current moment. So a major catalyst to come out is coming out within several weeks, and this is our maiden resource. We expect it should be out around about within 2 to 3 weeks. Everything's with the external qualified person. They have the report. We have all of the data. We're just waiting for finalisation of stope optimisation, and then we'll be able to release that report. So it's a very good time to be learning about Talisker. Comment quickly here on the share structure. I've mentioned before that we've got a large number of institutional shareholders, some very big names there supporting it, whether it be Franklin Templeton, Merck, RBC, Equinox Partners, so some very good support through there. Also very strong ownership with New Gold, who have a top-up right to maintain their 14.9%. Just quickly touch on our corporate leadership. We're a very technical team. We're all PhD and master's level. We're all big company trained out of the likes of BHP, AngloGold, Anglo-American. So we've got a lot of experience in what it takes to identify world-class projects and take them to fruition. And the team's actually been fortunate enough to be able to discover 5 plus 5 million ounce projects in our careers over the last 20 years. Looking at where we operate, there's an awful lot of focus on northern Canada, but we're really focused on south central British Columbia. The world seems to have forgotten this is actually the heart of British Columbian mining. You'll see Vancouver there in the bottom left-hand side. Some very big projects still in production. Highland Valley Copper, Copper Mountain, New Afton, 3 of the largest open pit mines in Canada. The Brenda mine, which is also closed a while back, was a very big open pit mine. So this is the heart of British Columbian mining. Some of the largest projects out there fully operational. You'll see main highway access that we've got there running into all of our projects. Highway 1, the National Highway, the Coquihalla Highway, a 4-lane transport route running up through our projects. Very good access. We can be with any of our projects for 4 to 5 hours from Vancouver. So really excellent access into the project. The large land package there is what we founded the company on. That's the Spencer's Bridge Gold Belt. You may know of the Spencer's Bridge Gold Belt from the Shovel Nose discovery with West Haven Gold. We now own about 85% of that emerging belt. We've done a large-scale program over the last 3 years, and we've got about 14 drill targets that are sitting there in that pipeline. And we hope to drill some of those next year. The Golden Hornet project, very quickly, was a discovery that we made earlier on this year. The Ladner Gold project, already at resource stage, fully permitted, tailings dam, connected to electricity, a very good project that we want to take forward that we only acquired late last year. What we'll focus on today, though, is the Bralorne Gold project, which is our flagship. But the history of the Bralorne project is worth discussing. It was the source of the Fraser River gold rushes in the 1860s. There was hard rock production there that started in 1889 and was continuous for 40 years from 1929 to 1971. 3 historic mines, King, Bralorne and Pioneer, that were owned by separate entities, and the ground in between them owned by separate entities as well. That's how things were back in the 1800s with Crown grants. That gives us a lot of benefit now that all that ground is consolidated together and we can systematically explore in between those ownership gaps. There was a total of 4.2 million ounces produced in the camp for those 40 years at an average recovered grade of 17.7 grams per tonne. So this was the highest grade, longest producing gold mine in British Columbia, and still holds the #1 position in total gold ounces produced in Western Canada. More than Eskay Creek, more than Pretium, more than New Afton, more than everybody. So that's a key point to look at. To put that into perspective for you, for every vertical metre that they mined, they produced on average 2,300 ounces per vertical metre. So a very rich gold mine, and known historically for continuity in production. No other mine has been mined for 40 years in Western Canada. So very good to be able to discovering millions of ounces right next door to the historic projects. Anybody's curious about why it closed back in the day, was simply because of the gold standard. Mining in Canada, gold mining was subsidised by the Canadian government. It was about $35 an ounce. That equates to about $200, $220 in current dollar value. So we're orders of magnitude ahead in the economics of it. So let's have a look at where we are today. So where we'll see don't know if that laser shows up, but this is a long section along the Bralorne Gold Project. The 3 historic mines are in the grey areas. That's stoped out. That's veins that's already gone. So from the left-hand side, we go King, Bralorne and Pioneer on the right. You'll see there's large gaps in between those historic mines where that 4 million ounces was taken out, where we've drilled out our resource. And these coloured panels are our veins. You'll see the main focus has been from surface to 700 metres. Historically, they were mined to 2 kilometres. That's where the bottom of that stope goes, down 2 kilometres. So a lot of upside here. And you'll see here very good continuity, both along strike of the structures and down at dip. Nearly a kilometre down dip, continuous, and up to 2 kilometres along strike of continuity of the veins. Really incredible continuity. So a lot of upside here. Here are some of the historic drift assays that you've got. You'll see the purple dots that we can see are 3 foot wide drift assays. That's plus 30 grams per tonne. So we can see some incredible continuity here of around 1.3 kilometres of plus 25 gram per tonne continuity. So really an incredible deposit with an incredible amount of upside. Last slide here, which we'll end on. The key thing about Bralorne is the infrastructure. We've got great, very continuous, high-grade veins that have got great structural and grade continuity, but we've got direct highway access in from Vancouver. Highway right to the front gate. We don't need to build a road across a glacier. Fully permitted, active mines permit, tailings dam, water treatment facility, fully permitted to water and dewater the project, state-of-the-art water treatment facility. We've also got a fully operational camp and kitchen ready to go for 130 people, full land package, proven process for flow, and key agreements in place with the First Nations and the community.